Welcome to Northwood University's Faculty Spotlight. I'm Dr. Kristen Stahauer, Academic Vice President and Provost at Northwood University. And this Faculty Spotlight podcast is aimed at giving our listeners an insider's view into the brilliant minds and expertise of Northwood University's distinguished faculty members. Over the course of this series, we explore a wide range of topics from business and economics to entrepreneurship and innovation. Each episode features an in-depth conversation with professors who share their thoughts, research, and experiences on how they educate and inspire and engage our students. Today's episode features two special guests that are very near and dear to my heart, our Dean of Undergraduate Studies, Dr. Patti Timm, and our Assistant Provost, Dr. Mark Lund. They're here to talk about innovations in business education and what it looks like at Northwood University. Welcome, Dr. Timm and Dr. Lund.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Patti and Mark. And let's get started by you sharing what is your area of scholarly expertise?
Well, I guess I'll start. Mine's kind of boring, not as boring as you might think Mark's is, but my background is in accounting, particularly managerial accounting. And my dissertation research was around lean manufacturing and value stream costing, which is something most people don't know about, but I found it very fascinating.
My background is in math, actually. My dad was a math teacher and then a math professor, and so I always had this love for math, and I did my PhD in a very specialized field in complex analysis, and I love it and I enjoy it. So.
Wow, you exemplify our faculty at Northwood who are very passionate about their specific areas of specialty. So you both teach in areas that some students might have a little apprehension. I know many people are math phobic. So Mark, how do you engage students? How do you create an environment where they're comfortable enough to be able to even start learning about math if they have some concerns or apprehension?
Definitely. I think one of the key factors, and I see this working with our faculty, I have a great deal of admiration for them as well. I think that sets us apart as a university is seeing our students as humans first, as people, and making that connection, a relationship, whether you're teaching in person or online, knowing that they are people and that they have fears and that they have other things going on in their life, and being empathetic but also knowing that empathy means that you want the best for them and communicating that to them. So I think that's a big part of it. Another big part teaching math especially is consistently just making it so that they understand how important and relevant it is, especially if it's a developmental class or an early math class where it's pure algebra that they're convinced they're never going to see again. It's taking that extra effort.
And we know they will.
Yeah, and we know they will. And we know that critical thinking and that problem solving is going to come in handy, and also just the basic quantitative skills required that is going to keep building in their other future classes, especially statistics, which they will use statistics all over the place.
Right, especially with the explosion of analytics,
exactly,
and AI, and all sorts of
disciplines
that are derived with.
So it's these conversations that faculty need to have with their students consistently, not just on the first day of class, but they need to just be repeating over and over that we're building a framework for you to see the world in, and this is applicable to what you need to know.
Thanks, Mark. And Patti, you teach accounting, which is something some people have apprehension about as well. How do you create an environment that students believe that they can actually learn these skills?
Right. I echo much of what Mark has said already. The fact that accounting is the language of business, applying it to their particular major, making sure that I know what all of their majors are and what their career goals are, then helps me customize the learning to be able to make it something that they can relate to. But right up front, we have to acknowledge the fact that this is a difficult subject and that I know not everybody wants to learn accounting. But for me, making sure that our students know we care to me, that comes well before any content. I've always had the philosophy that if they know I care, the content will follow. So creating opportunities for them to feel safe, just treating them with respect and giving them opportunities to express when they're struggling, and then providing opportunities for them to learn that material. So I'm back in the classroom this semester and taking all of those opportunities in these first couple weeks.
What great examples from both of you of how you meet students where they are, and you do that on an individual basis, which does exemplify what we do at Northwood University. We talk about student-centric learning in business education, and particularly the focus on experiential learning. Could you talk a bit about how that happens? Because not only do you have your expertise in accounting and mathematics, but you also work as administrators at a more meta level, if you will, across the undergraduate areas and for Mark across the whole university. But how do we do that at Northwood University that would be important for our listeners to hear about?
Well, I think we first focus on the student facilitated events that we have on campus, which are very unique to Northwood. We have our International Auto Show, we have our Fashion Showcase, we have Stafford Dinner. Where else do you get a chance to, as a college student, meet with industry professionals, network, plan a really large, complex event within an organization as well? So they learn how an organization works, and they find out what accounting issues there are going to be, how to market. So we have accounting majors who are CFOs of each one of these events, marketing students. It's just hands-on learning, which I think is extremely valuable and builds their resumes. They walk out with experiences they can talk about to say, yes, I have done this, which is extremely important.
I think the big student events are, I would echo that from what Patti said. And I think our faculty are very committed to just weaving in hands-on projects and hands-on learning in all of their classes. I think of sport management as an example. Our sport management students are constantly working with our own athletic department, but also with different the Lunds in the Midland area and other organizations in the Greater Bay Lakes or Great Lakes Bay region. They're getting out there. They're having practical experience. They're making mistakes, but they're learning from those mistakes. And they're finding out what it means to actually manage projects and manage their time.
People really learn by doing. You can
Absolutely
maybe have a grasp of a concept by reading about it, but actually trying to do it and learning from that is what's coming through loud and clear. And our faculty members are bringing professional experience into the classroom too. Could you, because that ties into creating those experiential learning opportunities.
Well, one of the criteria is, in addition to having the educational background in the area that we hire faculty, we are always looking at how much professional experience they have. So our faculty come with boots on the ground experience that they're able to not just tell stories, but explain to students why what they're doing in class makes a difference. They can bring in simulations, case studies, and they bring that level of knowledge, of practical knowledge, that our students really value.
And they have significant networks too that they draw.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Could you highlight some of Northwood University's unique programs that prepare students for the rapidly changing business landscape? We're constantly hearing about all the changes. How is Northwood preparing students to hit the ground running?
So I get really passionate about business STEM. We've really expanded into computer science, cybersecurity, data analytics. And what I love about our programs is that every Northwood student takes a business core. So they learn how businesses are run. They learn a little bit of management and marketing and accounting and including budgeting. And so they're not just experts in their particular technical field, they're experts in how their technical field is going to impact the business. So I always talk about you're not going to be a computer programmer in isolation or do data analytics in isolation. You have to do it within a business or an organization. So unless you understand that organization, unless you understand the different business cycles, if you don't understand cost benefit relationships or budgeting, you're not going to be as effective. And we prepare students not just for those entry level positions, but for that position that's going to come as an opportunity in 5 years where they have to manage people. So when we talk to industry leaders, that's something that they're always impressed with. And when they've helped us develop programs, they've said that that's what makes our programs stronger.
Yeah, so what comes through loud and clear is it's a very holistic approach to developing
Absolutely.
business leaders with expertise in a specific area that they might major in or minor in, but they
Correct.
have all those expected business skills that a leader needs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think one of the things that Patti spoke on that I think really resonates or describes Northwood as a whole is our connections with the industry leaders. We use our advisory councils, and so many changes have been implemented as a direct result of their feedback. I think of, for example, our marketing communications program, which formerly was an advertising program, but based on advisory council input, we've converted. A very recent change is the marketing and merchandising, which allows students to create their own brands and market their brands, whether it's fashion or a unique footwear or whatever it is. So it gives them the opportunities. And the advisory council input was critical in making sure that when we design our innovative programs, that they are going to be things that reflect what the needs of the industry are.
Yeah, definitely leading edge and infusing that into the curriculum very rapidly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so when you mentioned marketing communications, I think about all the analytics that's embedded within the courses for students in that area, because it does cover what we refer to as advertising, but it's so much broader than that these days.
And the embedded certifications that we have in many of our programs, I think that's a differentiator as well. And marketing communications are a couple of the programs that have really been aggressive in adding those, whether it's in Google Analytics or Hootsuite. They're getting certifications, which is extremely important for our students and their future employers when they get out in the workforce.
Absolutely. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the role of technology in transforming business education.
I think the first most important piece is it just expands our network of expertise. We're able to bring industry leaders into the classroom, whether it is a face-to-face classroom. We bring in guest speakers. We sometimes have guest speakers who are teaching about a very specialized software. They come into the classroom, whether it's face-to-face or online. We get access to materials in terms of the certifications in particular, where we get access to the tests, the content, to what is important for those certifications. I think that's valuable. Gamification. We're seeing that in our cybersecurity program, using gaming and games to explain cybersecurity and the protection of personal information. So there's been a long list of things that we really have benefited from in terms of technology.
Definitely. And I think there's also a great deal of technology behind the scenes that enable us as administrators and faculty to support our students. There's a great deal of analytics that we use that help us understand how to best serve our students. And I think another tied closely to this discussion on technology that our faculty are very passionate about right now, and I think are doing a great job of addressing is AI. Just they want our students to be prepared for the real world, and so it's finding the right balance of when do we use AI to help prepare our students, and when do we need to let our students know that this needs to come directly from you. This needs to be original, your own thoughts, and navigating that tricky little.
Absolutely. The responsible use of artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I am very impressed with our faculty in the fact that they're not saying, oh, well, we have to ban it, or we need to not allow them to access any AI on our network. Instead, they're getting creative. They're changing the way that they're assessing our students so that AI can't really help them. But then in the courses where they know that it's going to be used, they're providing that kind of instruction and opportunity to use it. So very impressive how they've been flexible and agile in adapting.
That makes me think of Professor McCormick. He recently told us that he uses AI in operations and supply chain management because it's an important tool when used responsibly in that sector. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Great examples. Well, we talk about Northwood University's guiding philosophy, the Northwood idea. How does the education that Northwood provides with this fundamental philosophy undergirding the curriculum, how does that set Northwood University's education apart from other options?
Well, I know from experience, Mark and I both sit in on all of the advisory council meetings where we talk to people who do hire our graduates. They talk about the fact that Northwood students are different. They can't quantify it, but they know that they're different. But some of the things that they indicate our students are able to do that is different from what they find from other college and university graduates is they have that entrepreneurial mindset. And with that, they come in more creative, more willing to take on new initiatives. They're very creative. We've also taught them about individual freedom and personal responsibility. So they're used to being very responsible and taking charge. And they just jump right in. That's another phrase we hear quite often. It's like, I give them a task to do and they just jump right in, or they come to me with ideas. So I think those are some of the qualities that we hear from employers about our students.
Definitely. And I would say that with that, I think what sets Northwood apart is our faculty are very passionate about the Northwood idea. They're here for a reason. They love the institutional philosophy that we have. And the three of us have sat in on a number of faculty interviews. And so we hear a lot about, or we directly ask them what their thoughts are about the Northwood idea. And we hear a lot, most faculty are very connected to the idea of individual responsibility or personal responsibility and individual freedom. They are very inspired by our code of ethics, the fresh air. So I think that mindset that we all have this common philosophy, I think that is inspiring. It also just makes that connection with faculty and students, faculty with each other, faculty with the community at large.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another thing we talk about at Northwood University is go mad, go make a difference. How does that resonate with our student body, and what does it mean to you individually to go mad or go make a difference?
So with our students, I mean, they start experiencing the benefits of making a difference as freshmen in their foundations classes. They will work with nonprofits. We have, of course, our Go Mad Day where everyone volunteers. So they immediately see the benefits. And what I think is important about it is, and Kristen, you've talked about this as well, we want ethical business leaders. We want them to be wildly successful, but with that success comes responsibility. And so we need business leaders that are willing to give back to their community, to their employees, to really take care of others. And by the experiences our students have on campus, I think we're creating a wonderful generation of kind, caring, generous, ethical business leaders.
Yeah, I think to me, what I find inspiring is just watching how the Go Make a Difference days have transformed our campus culture. It started out as one day in the fall. Now it's extended to 2 days, one in the fall, one in the spring, and we're even expanding that further to just make it part of everyday life, which I think is critical. For me personally, when I think about making a difference, I think it is a mindset. It's about not only making the conscious decision to dedicate your time, talent, and treasure to things that you're passionate about, but it's also just remembering to treat people as humans, and in your everyday endeavors, in your job or in your free time, the people you interact with, just make a difference in their lives, make them smile or notice how they're feeling and reach out to them.
And I do think that is the culture of our campus and why people work at Northwood. I mean, I go to work every day planning on making a difference. I don't know what it's going to be, but if you are continually viewing your life purpose that way, it makes your work more powerful and more rewarding, and just the entire environment.
Well, our time is up today for our podcast. It's gone so quickly, and we really appreciate how you focused on how Northwood University delivers innovative educational experiences to develop business leaders. You both are an inspiration to me, and I'm blessed to work with you, and you make a difference every single day, and we're fortunate that you're investing your careers in advancing Northwood University. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And thanks to our listeners for joining us in this faculty-focused podcast today, and we hope you'll listen to our future episodes as well.